In this episode, I sit down with one of my best friends, Kooka, who is from Iran but currently an artist living in France. We've been friends for over a decade. We met and when he used to play drums with us. He's one of the best musicians I've jammed with, probably the best person I've jammed with as a bassist. He's the drummer to my bassist. We talk art, we talk Hitler's paintings, we talk death, we talk all sorts of weird portals to Terra shit. Prepare your brains to get fucked. Welcome, Terrarians, to this beautiful, unusual, special episode of I say it every time. Every freaking episode, it's an unusual, special episode of Portals to Terra. This episode is, it is truly special. That's how I sell my shit. I'm like the carpet vendor in the bazaar. And I go, this one, Habibi, this is a very special carpet, please. Today's guest, our fellow aliens, is a Terrarian who's one of my best friends. And I say one of my best friends because I don't want to rank. Maybe he is my best friend. But you don't want to rank, you know? Because what is that bullshit? Best friend, you know? Like, do you have one best? Is it like, it's difficult to put people on a rank. He's one of my favorite people on earth.
Oh, that's good.
Is it good? Is that, yeah. Maybe the most favorite, but we don't know. Maybe it turns out he's a piece of shit 2 days from now and I hate him, so that's why I'm just saying one of them. He goes by the name Kooka. We won't tell you what his real name is, because it's like his secret identity. He does art in France, which is the most French thing to do in France. So ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Kooka, everybody. Hello.
Hi.
Can you talk a bit closer to the mic?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it
So
good
what's
here?
up, man?
Great. I'm really happy to see you, man. It's been 4 years since last time we were together.
Yeah. We've
I'm
been,
glad to be
you
here.
said we've been hanging out in 5 different countries.
Yes. This is the 5th.
This is the 5th. There is Budapest, where you used to live at some point. There's Austria. We went to a Stephen Wilson concert there together on my birthday, and we've also been deep into the mountains, like the Milka thing, the Milka ad with the cow. We went there, like the Alps and shit. We've been to Amsterdam. We don't talk about Amsterdam. We've been to Amsterdam doing Amsterdam kind of shit, and we've been to France, where you live in Grenoble.
Yeah.
We went to the beautiful Annecy and that other side of the Alps,
Yeah.
and now we're here in Istanbul.
Finally.
Which of these countries is the most racist? No, don't answer. We all know the answer. Yeah, how do you like Istanbul so far?
I mean, it took me a while. There is too many people. I mean, where I live is a little city with 100 times less people. It was overwhelming for me to be here, but I got used to it very fast.
Yeah.
It reminds me Tehran, but
Tehran.
but it's really, really cool. I mean, especially where you are at. It's calm, and I love the building here, man. They're beautiful. They have a great historical places, and I'm falling in love slowly. But at the beginning, when I arrived, it was super overwhelming for me.
Yeah.
I love it. So far, so good. And especially you are here. So got a chance to see you and a couple of other people that I love in the same time. Well, I get more near to your mic.
No, because I yelled. You talk very slowly. So you should be closer to. Yeah, no, like I understand. Like when I came here from Buddha, when I went to Grenoble, I had that feeling, but the opposite of it. That it was like everything's so calm.
Yeah.
This is so good, you know. But then when I came here, I also, to me, everything was like, how do you say acid trip without saying acid trip? Not that I've ever tried acid, but it was like, it's really like a psychedelic experience. Like everything smells different, the colors, sounds, people, smells. And it is overwhelming to me at first because, like, I think for people who have anxiety issues, you're always looking for danger. You're looking for what can harm me. And there's so much, you're exposed, agoraphobia in a way, which Bourdain was also agoraphobia. But anyways, so you go like always trying to fix things. But at this point, I think this has become my norm. And I'm so comfortable in it and I'm actually enjoying it. So when I go out, especially if you put some rock and roll, some Queens of the Stone Age or Eagles of Death Metal, and I'm just, you know, strolling through the people, like trying to get through everything. People, bus. Now dodge this bullet. It's, you know, motorcycle. And I'm more, it's like Zen, it's like meditation where you're always in the moment. It's so alive. And I know that on the long run, it can have effects on your brain. And that's why people go to the islands or go to, like the one you went to Buyukada or like
Adlar, yeah.
Adlar, or they take a trip to Fethiye or somewhere just to like reset and then they come back. But I think like 30 million people or something, I think, give or take, with the refugees, 30 million in a city, and the city itself is so fucking beautiful that you come in and every district it's like its own city. Like you went to the Karakoy and the Istiklal and stuff. Is a different world from like Kadikoy, and then you go to Bebek, which you haven't, and then there is the Kaitana, and like all of them is a different.
It's super stimulating. Like the smells are changing every block, and as you said, like you have to be super aware because the cars are everywhere. Even in the sidewalk, there are sometimes bikes or motorbikes. I mean, but as you said, it's meditating, but in a very, very harsh way. Meditating. You are in a moment, but the moment is chaos. So you're meditating on chaos.
Yeah.
But well, yeah. As I said, I'm getting used to it, and I will be here one more week, so I have a lot more places to discover, more friends to see. But I totally agree with you. It's very, very meditating. But I'm meditating on chaos. I haven't had this experience since I left Shanghai. It's quite like Shanghai, but way more Middle Eastern, you know, like more in a way, I mean, familiar smells or this familiar culture, but as much as people I saw in China, man. Like, really, it's huge. But I mean, I learned a lot about myself. I mean, it's been 7 years I didn't live in such a place. And I saw how living in calm little town near to Champagne have changed my spirit, you know, like I got used to that. So I had to just wake up in a new place after like 3 hours of flight. It was shocking.
Do you think one is healthier for humans than the other?
I don't have a general idea for humans. I can't say that, but I can say for myself, yes, one is healthier. I'm way better in a less populated places.
Yeah.
So it's where I can meditate on other thing than chaos.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't have a I'm not a really, how can I say, scientist to say it's good for human or bad for human. I can say for me, it's better to don't have this much of people around me.
Yeah.
For me personally,
I think that it is generally the same for all humans, but there is also the excitement aspect,
which is cool.
Yeah. So I haven't made up my mind. I know because I'm from Tehran, I know this is more my natural habitat. But at the same time, I understand that everybody from a metropole has anxiety issues.
I see.
Everybody from Tehran has anxiety issues. The pace of the city, everything.
And you're related to each other, the anxiety and the overpopulation.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I see. Well, the first thing maybe I can agree with that. I think more people, so more danger. I mean, I'm talking about the amount of cars running around, the amount of bikes running around. But yeah, I can see how it can change your spirit.
Yeah.
I never lived in Terra, so I don't know. I just have traveled maybe once when I wanted to get out of the country.
That's why I think Budapest was the perfect middle ground.
Exactly.
Like you have everything
Exactly.
happening, everything. You can go to Tehran or whatever big city, which is a district, which is where Simplakert is, and like
Exactly.
and the rest of the city is just Sesame
A calm
Street. It's
place,
just
yeah.
like So
Yeah, I love that about Budapest.
yeah,
You choose. You want to have a badassy trip? Just go to Blaha.
yeah.
Go to
Blaha.
Klinikak.
No. Yeah, Blaha. Yeah, Blaha is a freight train.
It's a free fun fair.
Yeah.
But yeah, where you were living, it was like campaign. It wasn't campaign, but it was seriously a calm place that I really loved. But yeah, one of my favorite places so far, it's Budapest. I mean, it's super cliche and cheesy to say my heart is there, but it's been, I think, a couple of years I couldn't travel there. I think last time I came was 5 years ago. I came to see you.
Yeah.
And since then, I didn't have a reason to go back.
Yeah. And I think COVID happened and all that.
Yeah, and changed our habits.
I know. I mean, every country has the problems. Financial problems are important. A healthy economy is important. But I think sentimental-wise, it's very different. You know, I think a lot of people in many of the cities that we won't name, that we named now, are struggling. But yet there is the soul of the city and the love you have for the city.
Yeah.
And it's such a hard thing to balance. There are places, now I can shit talk on Germany. I mean, I think there are places where you can make shit ton of money, but I'm not sure if life is as exciting. Like you can go to fucking Nuremberg. I've traveled to Nuremberg.
Yeah.
It's boring as fuck. You can get a good job there, start making good money, but is it worth it?
I haven't been there. I have no idea.
Nothing but the Nazi trials. That's where the Nazi trials were. And the court is still there in Nuremberg.
Wow.
Yeah. That's where they prosecute. And you know what's funny? It's all kebab and Arabs.
Wow. I don't know
Take
if
it,
that's
Hitler.
funny or not.
Can you imagine? Like the place where they tried Nazis ended up becoming like...
The mass immigration
Yeah.
concentration place.
Yeah.
I see.
Not that they tried Nazis. I think the Nazi... Because I know the Nuremberg law is the one where Hitler said, these are the people who can live. Imagine you make a law. You know how you make a law, like you can't smoke inside, or, you know, that's usually laws, you know, like it's illegal to like drink past 10 o'clock or something. This motherfucker made a law about
who can live,
who can exist. It is from now on is illegal for anyone with Semitic genes to live. But Iranians are fine.
If chaos had a face.
Did you know that Iranians were exempt? Because he said you have Aryan blood.
Well, I think
Kaboom.
the only time being Iranian helped us out of shit was this.
I always bring it up with the Nazis. When the Nazis corner me in the street and you're like, you know, with a swastika, like, hey, I'm gonna fucking kill you. They put a knife on me. I'm like, wait, let me Google Nuremberg laws. See? According to Hitler, we're cool. It's funny that most Nazis don't even do the research to be even a proper Nazi.
Wait, you haven't done your proper research.
Yes, no, I know more about Nazism than you fucking skinhead. And according
Who's Nazi now?
to the official king of... It's like Satanism. You know, whose church of Satan do you believe? Are you Anton Levy's Satanism? Are you the new church Satanism, the LGBT Satanism? Or are you the other one? It's so funny. Anton Levy was the guy who created Church of Satan, and he was drawing pentagrams, trying to summon the devil. He believed in black magic, and he was full-on fascist and white supremacist. And then there's the new Temple of Satan. You can check their Instagram page, the one with the blue tick.
I see.
You see?
No,
it's so fun. It's listening. all rainbow flags and pride merch. Like they're selling a t-shirt of Satan is gay. and all the money is being donated to like the LGBT cause and stuff. And look, I'm all pro LGBT cause, you know, I'm very liberal and stuff. I just don't understand. It was supposed to be separation of church and state. Like why? Like so, let's say somebody's doesn't want to pay money. Like which I think like I'm all for
No,
LGBT.
I see.
I just don't think it's correct to mix religion and politics in any way. But these guys are so liberal. Like they're you have to join $25. Like they donate the money to Ukraine, to whatever. So they're making these decisions. And then there is the freelance Satanists who are just people who believe in, like, just believe in the philosophy of, like, Lucifer being the one who said, like, fuck you, and the chaos aspect, because everything with God was order and Lucifer was the one. And there is also the fact that, you know, this character, the trickster character, has been appearing so many times in world mythology, from Prometheus, who brought fire, and Loki, who had the horns, and Carl Jung calls it our trickster archetype. You know, they all trick the gods. Like it's like Tom and Jerry situation, or, you know, Coyote Roadrunner, you know, the blip, blip guy. So it's like playing tricks, and the trickster, which there's a good book on it, Ted Hughes's Crow, is a collection of poems, which is it's between a crow, which was God's first creation in the book, and God. And God is like Tom, and Crow is like Jerry, and they all play this, like, Crow is constantly tricking God. So then that character became Satan, literally Lucifer, Lightbringer, like Prometheus, who brought the fire. And they all, in a way, they believe, not me, alhamdulillah. I'm not saying it's good or bad, just very factual, very factual. Don't get it wrong. But they believe that he was the guy who served mankind. He brought the fire from below by bringing that trickstery, by bringing that dark part of us. He served us in a way, and brought out chaos, which is St. Augustine's philosophy of Felix Coppola, Happy Fault, that says the best thing that happened to man is when the apple, because we gained our free will. We said no to God. So by doing that, we didn't go by the plan of order. We made our own decision, which in Westworld is also depicted as, that's when AI becomes sentient, is when AI doesn't do exactly what the human tells them to do. It starts thinking on their own. So that's why they, let's say, worship Satan, because some of them don't even like the term worship, because they're like, Satan wouldn't worship. It's more...
Well, in my opinion, like the fact you were talking about, I think in the culture where they are fascinated by Christianity, where their whole past kings were ordering their people by Christianity, controlling by people by Christianity, killing people who were not in these codes and norms of man and woman, of soldier creating machines for the king. Now we get to a point, just for going against that culture, that mother culture, we mix the freedom of gender with what you were explaining, Satanism. But I think, in my opinion, it's just a way of going against tradition. I don't think they worship to Satan, or they are Satanists in this typical way of prayers. But I think it's just a very first side effect of Christian fascinated culture.
Yeah. But what my idea is that if someone, let's say, is a Trump supporter who doesn't want to pay money to LGBT, or who doesn't want to pay money to Ukraine, should be able to be a part of the church.
Well, I have no idea.
What?
I have no idea.
No, they can't, because, like, if you want to join the new Temple of Satan, you need to pay the $25.
So it's
and that money,
church,
they
then
decide what happens to that money.
So they are doing what church has been doing for 1,000 years.
Exactly. But not even that, because the church doesn't really fund even... Yeah, you're right. Yeah. It's become political. So you know what I mean?
Yes. I'm sorry.
Can you bring that also?
Yeah.
The cranberry juice.
Yes.
And give me...
I just took some tissue. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well...
Talk for them until I...
Yeah, well... Just in my opinion, all the problem around this cultural gender disequality or other disequalities is
Oh, we're going there now.
no, we are
No,
not just
you're the
answering.
best person. I've never talked about this, but you're the best person to talk about this. Let's go.
I don't know if I'm the best or worst, but I think these problems are religious driven, because religion was the way we control the society, and the kings, the church, always need soldiers. And if we say it's normal to be yourself, not, I don't think 99% of people are heterosexual who want to just make babies and add to the society, if we let the people be themselves. And now we understood that. We understood all this misconception about human nature being forced to us.
Yeah, which was acceptable at some point.
At some point.
In the Greek times, they were all fucking each other. Socrates, Aristotle, all fucking each other, and there was no stigma. Or even certain, I don't want to name names and go there, certain prominent literature figures in our region.
Yes.
Which we totally can name names.
Yeah.
Here you can get in trouble, there you can get in trouble. But we know them.
Yeah, well,
and you know who I'm talking about.
Yes, but yeah, in my opinion, it all started this problem, if I can say, of our generation started 1,000 years ago. It's not something new.
Yeah.
But
and
we are the first generation. We don't give as much fuck as our grandparents. We don't have the same vision of death. We don't have the same vision of God. We have grown up with different perspective of what is God, what is Satan, what is religion. So we deal with the after death differently. They needed to deal with after death by paying money to somebody, tell them what's the truth.
Yeah.
And we deal with this that we might never know.
How do you think it's changed? The question of death.
The question, how did it change?
Yeah.
It's a big cultural change. I think a few generations, they have started, we get to this point. It's not a new thing. If you look at, I don't know, 1960s, they had their own movement. 1920s, they had their own movement. They had their own school. Somehow in literature, we start to adding what we've been hiding, what we were like hidden literature somehow became public, I am not enough educated to know how did it start, but when I look at back in the history until today, there have been always different literature who've been talking about this fact that the image of man and woman we've been creating is incorrect. It's excluding whole bunch of people who've been hiding because they're afraid of being killed, For example, where we live, we kill them. The government kill people who are just little different or thinking little different from the normal codes, But I'm not really enough educated to know where exactly it started, but from the lecture I had, I can see it's a long process and it's haven't finished yet.
Yeah.
And even in this process of cultural movements, there is up and down, there is going back and forward, because it's really hard to go against this man-made nature of this is God, this is how it created. My hypothesis, some of us, we are afraid of not having an answer of what is the end and what is the purpose. So we give the first laziest answer coming to our mind, and this is man, this is woman, this is being hetero, this is being this, that, to just calm the questioning brain down. But I think myself, I'm a generation that we learn to accepting there is no answer sometimes to the question the brain creates,
Yeah.
And moving on. And we saw not having respect for another being, what creates in your political state, in your cultural state. I mean, they have seen it too, but we had the chance to have internet. This is the first time a human being moving on Korea can communicate with me here. So I had this chance to have friends from all around the world from different countries, and having this vision that listening to people who are different. I don't think my grandparents had this chance, I don't think they were dumb or they were not intelligent enough. I don't see myself intelligent. I just see myself
more exposed
more
to the,
exposed to reality, to accepting not knowing.
yeah.
While back then they were in a little village, and reality was that little village. And even now you are in a little village, you're exposed to everywhere.
And it will grow. Like let's say
grow.
extraterrestrial.
Oh my god.
No, I'm not mean aliens in general,
Yes,
but
in general.
there will be a time, if we survive, that we have already, like, we went to the moon. It's what I'm saying is not crazy.
Did
We're-
we?
We're gonna get out of the fucking solar system by some point, either physically
If we
or through
survive,
dawn.
yeah.
And that is then gonna change our minds. And then your grandkid will sit and say, my
They were not
grandfather, I'm not saying he was dumb.
Yes.
He just lived on the planet Earth.
I mean, that's what I'm talking
and that
about.
planet was his whole world.
That's what
like,
I'm talking about.
you
This
know?
vision that you're talking about, that in future they will always know more about who we are. But we didn't have this.
By
We
going out
always
of
thought,
the cave.
but we always thought what God says is true. And now we understood there is not really true we can understand. There are this partial vision of reality that we can experience. And the truth is what we will never understand. We will always get a little dose of this painkiller to ease our existential pain of not understanding reality. But I don't think we will ever get that global understanding because we are limited to our monkey consciousness. So beyond that, it's something, as you said, maybe in 200 years, 2000 years, if we survive, they're going to look back and they're going to say, oh, they were not smart enough,
Yeah.
But I think that's how it works. But
I didn't even know how to use an ASMR podcast last
yes.
episode. It sounded like shit. I did a whole 40-minute therapy session about snow. So emotional. Then I listened to it and I'm like, the audio is shit. I'm not gonna do that again. I'm not gonna sit in now, but joking. But look, like snow. I just wanted to say we went to this place. I forgot the guy's name. You can look it up if you really want to, and you should. Called "We Are Still Alive,"
Yes,
an exhibition by. We don't know the name. It's in the Contemporary Museum.
No, it's like Arte. It's like a.
What is the name of the place?
The Arte is non.
It's called the Arte.
Profitable. Yeah, Arte. It's a non-profitable art center. It's not a museum. There's a difference between art center and museum. Museum mostly they own their objects and they have this exposition now and then. But art center is a place where they invite artists to expose their contemporary artists.
You can rent it and do your expo.
You don't rent it. They invite you like how they invite you for your show. For a weekend. They call the artists and they invite them if they have.
They didn't invite me.
You forced
I
yourself.
said, kick someone out. I need to host. Shout out to someone. But no,
it's an exposition place.
Whom I asked, by the way, parenthesis, I asked him, I said, someone, do you want to be on this podcast? He was like, well, the quality is so low, it's kind of demotivating. I said, listen, when I'm like Oprah, you're going to be begging me to get on.
Well, back to this.
No, but what I want to say is that we were talking about, there was this exhibition, and as I walked in, for people who have listened to the previous episode, I felt like it was about death. And I'm not going to spoil what it was. I mean, you should go there if you're in Istanbul. It's fucking amazing. It's like contemporary art, like objects and stuff that makes you feel something. Like, especially, I'm going to put this picture right here. If you're watching the video, this is the image of like 1,000 shattered pieces of a statue and the limbs and everything. And you had to actually turn a corner. Just like in our apartment where we had to turn a corner and there was Snow's body there and her items, which he also had like a set of like items that belonged to his grandfather, and it was called My Grandfather's Last Will. And he didn't touch anything. It was just, the shelf, everything. And as I turned, and it just had so much, it was so impactful. And I've never had that experience with the contemporary art. maybe because of the recent events, like this whole death experience and stuff. And I was thinking, like, man, I feel jealous of people who are more religious, because they wouldn't have these questions that I'm having now. The question would be answered immediately. This is the will of God. If someone left, that was their time. If there is a destiny, we have no control, so you surrender completely the control. I mean, Islam comes from taslim. It's to surrender. I mean, I don't want to get into the religion stuff too much, but just touching the surface, you get my point.
Yeah.
That we don't have that. We are left with our own, with the loneliness and with the pain of the fact that it is what it is. You have no control on it, and it's random. Things are not significant. And that is hurtful for an ego-driven culture who thought we are the best, the purest form of life.
But that's what came
Ashraf
from,
makhluqat,
that
you know?
came from religion to us.
Yeah, but even before that, mythology, we always thought that the fact that because we compare ourselves to the animals. We say, okay, the dog shits. I mean, dogs, honestly, they're better than us. I mean, that's settled. But, like, let's say you fucking see a goat, and then you see this other thing. And then the other thing that goes, meh, 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 eats and fucks and meh, meh, meh. And we're the first to do art, and you did that. And then we took ourselves so seriously because we were like, oh, we must be hot shit if we do that. You know what it means?
Yeah.
This feels like a hot, blonde, like, French lady living in a Middle Eastern country. She feels really hot. But when she moves to Scandinavia, where everybody else is... So what I mean is that when we make contact or find the alien race or whatever, that will crumble our society, because we realize that, oh, we weren't that special. The only reason why we thought we were special is because in this tiny part of the universe, which we call planet Earth, we were the smartest. They're even not that smart, because we still do the same shit. We eat, we fuck, we have all the hedonism shit. But we became a little smarter than the fucking armadillo.
Well, I think you can have faith without having religion. I think that's what they took it away from us, because the faith came to us with religion. But I have in my personal vision a faith. And it has nothing to do with religion. It has nothing to do with the pain of death or easing the existential crisis, you know. But I think they took it away from us when they told us, you believe in God.
Let's not go there. Okay. So, but you know, the thing is that I like, listen, we're really not discussing religion here. No. We're discussing philosophy.
Pain.
Philosophy. So I just want to make sure the people, whoever is watching this, for whatever government they work, they know this. But and you know, all the respect, but what I mean is the significance of mankind. If we think we're too important, I mean, you can be religious and think like that. Many times religion actually helps with that, right?
For sure.
But I think the problem is secular, atheist, whatever. We do think we're important. And that is painful. Like, do you think you have any significance? Like, every life is beautiful. We need to save that, like the whole abortion shit. You know what I mean? Like,
not really. I don't
anti-abortion people treat this thing 1 month old, 2 month old, nothing here, as a sacred, very important magic. There's a life inside you. If you get an abortion, do you know what I mean?
Not really. I mean,
so why is that so sacred? Why do we put our own life? Like, you shoot a goose, you go to Burger King and you eat another animal. But then if this fucking sperm became a little more developed, it's special. It's because it's gonna be a human. And we think we're so fucking special that even this is special. So then when your flatmate dies in front of you, you go,
nothing is special.
We're not that special. That can happen to me. That can happen to you. That can happen to everybody. Can this happen to? Are we that fucking special? Because if not, if there is really a God that, like, whatever, like, we're that special, why did this happen?
Well, I think this question, just in my opinion, is really ego-driven question. Are we special?
Yes.
You know? But in the fact, we are experiencing machine, as the stone of a building experiencing the heat of the sun. You are experiencing your thought and you're experiencing your reality. I don't see anything special about that. It's only when you see yourself ashraf makhluqat, you feel special. When you see yourself in the top of the hierarchy of existence, you feel special. But I think it's ego-driven answer and question. While in my faith, I'm an experiencing a stone as the sun hits. It can be more angry just by not eating. It can be more happy by just seeing somebody who loves. It's just collection of experiences, and there is nothing special about one part of this existence if you see yourself part of the whole thing. But when you separate yourself, which is a good thing, I'm not against ego, I'm against toxic ego questions, you know, because ego is what saved me, what got me to here. If I didn't have it, I wouldn't want to be good at painting. I wouldn't want to learn other language. I didn't want to. Why I learn other language? Because I didn't get the respect I thought I deserve. Why I learned to do this, do that. I think it's a really good tool for me. I spend a lot of time cooking. I see ego like a knife. I use it, cook, feed people I love, or I use it to kill. You know, it's a tool that can be used for you or against you. And when it's against you, it drives you to the question that I am the head of this hierarchy, not a part of this just existence and this experience. Mm-hmm. I think when we get to that point, we separate ourselves from nature. We get to that point, we become human and nature. That's where we've been answering to this question wrong, because we are looking at ourselves from outside where there is no outside. You see what I'm trying to say? Yeah.
Why do you do art?
I don't know. That's a very big philosophical question. For me, I think me devoting myself to creation is just a continuation of, I don't know if this word is English or no, but it's just the continuity of nature creating. It's part of it. It creates itself, it destroys itself. That's how entropy moving on, you know, by moving a state of objects to other state of objects, from moving a shape to other shape. And I don't think I am making art. I'm just devoting myself to this part, to this creation. I can devote myself to destruction. It can be other thing, but I think it started by luck. Somebody gave me a couple of tools, you know. I've been waiting for some answer. I had some days, some time in my life where I could spend it going out and bothering people because I didn't have occupation for that moment. I was waiting for a little time. Somebody just gave me some brush and paint and was like, Puria or Kooka, it's gonna be your next favorite thing. I laughed because I sometimes draw, you know, this phone book drawing, and everybody was like, oh, they're amazing. I didn't have the same vision if they are good or bad or whatever. But the first time I started doing it, it was like something I was doing forever, and I just had a pause, a big pause, a 25 years of pause since I was born. And at that moment, I started doing it. It's like why you eat when you ask me. It's just some need. But I didn't know I have that need, you know, like for people who have never done a sport, when they start, they will see what they've been missing in their life. It was just in front of them. They were looking for a deeper answer to change, but it was just going of 15 minutes run in the morning and some push-up, pull-up, you know, just a little thing was what they were looking for, but they were looking maybe in other places. Mm-hmm. And by luck, I think just somebody who I love and love me gave me this gift, you know, and I could never stop. But I could not answer why people make art then. It's just a continuity of creation.
So let's ask, because I'm also creative. Yes. But I wouldn't say I'm an artist. And there's a big difference to me. I'm an entertainer. Mine is less highbrow. Mine is less, let me tell you let me let you decode it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the thing. And I'm not trying to be that deep. I'm entertaining. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm not trying to be deep
I'm a,
at all
but
when
you know
I
what I mean?
create.
But the point is like rock and roll, let's say, or comedy, but let's not talk about comedy. Let's say rock and roll. Like I'm into rock and roll. I like to play rock and roll riffs and tell a story about it, you know? Like I like to like I really like Sean Lennon because some of the Ghost of Sabertooth Tiger songs, check them out, like Britney Jean. Britney Jean is about Britney Spears, or Claypool Lennon Delirium has a song called Bubbles Burst. It's the story of Michael Jackson. And it's just telling a story. In 1983, Texas, Jackson, Mississippi, I don't know, where was it? The facility where Bubbles was born. He was just a few months old when he was told that he was sold. They flew the primate pet upon a private jet and off to Neverland, where he met the impish man. Feasting on candies and dressed like a dandy, Bubbles was treated like no other chimpanzee, transformed in whatever. So it's telling the story of a guy who was the king of pop. It's depicted as this rich king who never had a childhood, because then it goes childhood's end and Bubbles burst, and the monkey's name was Bubble. And or there's a part where it says dancing with Peter Pan or whatever, which was the case. Like it's called it Neverland, and Peter Pan syndrome is the syndrome where about people who stay immature and they don't mentally grow up because Peter Pan, you know. So they talk about a story of Michael Jackson and the pet primate he got.
I see.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know or remember that he had this monkey with him who would do a moonwalk with him on stage, and about how he couldn't experience childhood due to his traumas, due to his dad. And so they tell that story, but at the end of it, it's a story. It's like a Hollywood movie level of. Then there is fucking Lars von Trier. 20 minutes of shots of just images, and you need to like say that's art.
No, I think
that is entertainment, and I do that. Do you see the difference? Or?
Yeah, I think it's a difference you have made for yourself, because the culture codes, for me, they are stories. The story. I don't think my stories are deep because they are paintings. No, it's how people interpret them. As you said, what we saw maybe in the art center touched me less, while it's my work, but I had less understanding even from what we saw, and you were way more driven in the meaning of it. But I think it's just how we interpret the reality will give them this holy statue of art and entertainment. While if you look at closely, it's a way of entertainment. It's entertaining me at first. I'm the first audience when I paint. I'm the first person who is listening to the story.
Yeah.
There is nothing deeper than that. I think that human is an animal who love telling stories. But after, because the cultural codes, some of these stories become more important than others. Some movies, they are more artsy and more cool than others. But I think in reality, it's just a storytelling, and what I do could be interpreted very deep or could interpreted very shitty and very surface. But for me, art and entertainment are the exactly same thing. Is the part of brain need to tell a story.
But is there always one interpretation?
No, there is infinite interpretation of everything.
Because it's subjective.
Everything
but
is
entertainment is objective. Let's say
that.
you can feel like that with art. Even the music can be more artistic, like a Steven Wilson song, and or like a Bach classic piece, and it's more subjective of how you feel. But then you can't look at our fan favorite song, Sting, and go, no, Roxanne, you don't have to put on a red light. Is about inherent problems of racism. No, it's about Sting falling in love with the hooker.
Yeah, but
and she put on a red light.
Exactly, but see that you have that interpretation because you speak English. Give it to me. before I know how to speak English.
Then you
I
don't
would
get
have
it.
I would have my own interpretation. So that's what I mean.
Huh.
It can change within the culture we've been growing up. The meaning of that sentence for you are clear because you had a different culture than me growing up.
Yeah, but that pisses me off sometimes. Like, not with art, but with entertainment. When this Iranian guy who didn't speak good English would tell me, you know what Hey You, Pink Floyd is about?
No.
He met this girl out in the cold. And she was cold, so she wanted to pick him up with his car. So
Well,
it's like,
do
hey,
you
you
see
out
that?
there in the cold.
That's exactly what I mean.
And it makes me angry that
That
you're
isn't-
not paying attention to the lyrics. Because The Wall, you can't misinterpret it. Even Roger Waters today is misinterpreting it, I think. Somehow The Wall, a piece about mental health issue of a guy with daddy issue who lost his dad in war and then ended up becoming fascist because of it, became about Israel and Palestine. I don't know what fucking mental gymnastic Roger Waters did, where Dark Side of the Moon is about the Gaza Strip now. But to me, it's that story. He made a movie about it, and it's the story of. And if anybody says otherwise, I can tell them you're wrong. But sometimes it's so art. Let's say another song I'm not a fan of, like, but the Division Bell song, the one, the grass is greener, most of David Gilmour's work, I would say, no, it's up to your interpretation. Like Frank Zappa, you can't misinterpret it. The Illinois Enema Bandit is, I heard he's on the loose. I heard he's on the loose. He'll be popping up, every one of them up full of Illinois Enema Bandit juice. You know what it means?
Yeah.
Illinois Enema Bandit was a guy who would have enema, like a vaginal douche. They could clean the vagina in it. He would put his sperm in it. This is a true story. And he would go to women and he would do this. This was a criminal who was when he made that song, you can't fucking listen to it and say it's about God. He made a very dark comedy piece about the rapist. And so that's the do you understand?
Yeah,
that's what I do.
That's the way you differentiate a form of creation,
And I respect you guys more, actually. I respect you guys more because yours is more, you make it so it can be looked at from every angle. But what I do has one angle to look at.
But it's the same thing at the end. It's just a continuation of creation of the universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're both creativity.
Yeah, they're both creativity. At the end, for the meaning people take from it, we call one of them art and give it a special place. And it didn't have a special place maybe 2,000 years ago. Maybe we were just workers for church, we were workers for the mosque, we were workers for the kings. And somehow, in one point of the story, it became something more respected. And I think it can happen to every form of creation in coming future.
So what do you think happened? Because I think originally it was all entertainment. Like when you go back, you see like all the Renaissance paintings and the Gothic paintings. Like the Gothic ones are my favorites. All Jesus on a spike. And very realistic. Who can draw a sexier Jesus with better abs? Like the six-pack gets better. You see, it's always Jesus. Like Jesus would lift some weight, bro. Like Jesus looked like, keeps looking more and more like Cristiano Ronaldo, And then suddenly we reach the 60s or 70s or whatever, people start to smoke pot and whatever, and suddenly it becomes Basquiat. Art was all sexy Jesus for thousands of years. And then suddenly it became the weirder the better. What happened there?
I don't think the weirder the better. It's just
less technical.
Yeah, no, it's not less technical at all. I mean, Basquiat is a very, very technical artist because he's going against this need of a painter, because naturally you are designed to do better. Oh, I learned today make an English sentence. I'm gonna learn a better sentence tomorrow, Oh, today I learned this equation in mathematics. I'm gonna use it to make a better equation tomorrow. This is how we design to always evolve. So in painting is same. So I think Basquiat is a master of going against this natural force, against this order of God that make a better Jesus painting, you know. So he comes and he become a new way of saying this is perfect. Actually, this is perfect of saying no to what your brain says good. Actually, he found the freedom in creation, because somehow nature sometimes can make you in a jail of perfection.
Yeah.
And I think his work is technical in a point of not applying brush or a spray on a canvas, but way deeper in understanding how human nature works. So that was his, I think his, that's really interesting you talk about him, you know, because he's a great example of what used to be an artist, as you said, in the Renaissance and creation, and what became artists in our generation. But from that point of time to this point of time is not only a smoking pot, it's innovation of camera, innovation of different form of colors. Like, for example, why now I can make a 7-meter painting with just blue, but in the past only rich guy had the painting with the blue vestments, with the blue cloths, you know, because the color blue was made from a very special stone that can cost fortune. A red color was a very expensive material, could cost very. So a lot of change through a story, through culture, and to come to what we call art today and what we used to call art in the past. It's not just one change or one point of a story. It's whole. We don't know why a story. Why the story of human moving this ways. But this is how it ended. Beautiful, gay-looking Jesus, who we all love. To
Astaghfirullah, he was straight.
He was straight. I said gay-looking.
He didn't do anything with anyone, anyways.
That was not a judgment. That was just a good way to call a beautiful man.
Mary Magdalene tried, but Jesus said no. Anyways, Jesus was hard to get. Mary Magdalene slid into his DMs. Jesus was like, "I'm sorry, I'm married." It was like, "Are you looking for a long-term thing or a short-term thing?" Jesus was like, "I'm gonna die soon." And Mary Magdalene was like, "Okay, fair enough." And then he was like, "I met this hot guy. I wanted to get with him, but he said he's gonna die soon, so I don't want to get into any long-term thing if he's gonna leave soon." And then 3 months later, he was back, and he was like, "Motherfucker, you told me you're gonna die." He was like, yeah, but let me explain. I got resurrected. It's a new me now. Like, anyways.
I mean, I have changed.
Yeah. He came with a new Instagram account. When Jesus came back, he was like...
I mean, he saw Hinge is coming out. He was like, okay, I'm going to try this shit out. Again.
Where did you think he found his 12 disciples? Why would 12 dudes hang out together? So Jesus was a bros before hoes guy.
Yes.
Like, you know?
Yeah.
He was like, Mary Magdalene, no. I'm going to go hang out with my 12 bros.
Yeah.
Mary was like, well, watch out. One of them, this Judas guy, I don't trust, you know?
It reminds me of Tate.
This Judas guy, he seems like someone who would kind of betray you. And then they were having food together. All 12 of them sitting on one side of the table. So cool. Have you seen?
Yeah.
Why did they all sit on one side of the table?
Because like that's how you make the illusion of perspective. I mean, people see that as a
I think they did it for the camera.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think somebody was like...
maybe we should sit there now.
It was like, guys, let's take a picture. And Jesus
come
was
here,
like,
come here.
Everybody come here. Do your Last Supper's pose. It's like, have food as if they're going to kill me tomorrow. Let's go. And then Judas is like, I love that. I love how Judas is shit talking. He's like,
he didn't pay the bill.
He's like, you see how he's alive? Wait, just you wait. But so Sorry, you went sidetracked.
Oh, yeah.
It used to be a comedy
No,
podcast.
that's the point. No, that's the point of talking. I love that. We were talking about totally different thing. We
Also-
end up to the Jesus dinner.
So what you were saying before is we always have this explain to aliens segment where we explain something, but it's usually a comedy thing. But now actually we did explain very perfectly with very simple language and without using the technical terminology what modernism is. That was the modernism with basket and then they came postmodernism, right? Where modernism
it's contemporary. It's way after modernism, because also modernism was as we were way talking back about how we went against religion by making a new religion and making new church. Modernism was exactly the same. Okay, they were saying these are the code of creation. Now I'm going to go different way. They were saying like this should
No, but
be...
that's actually postmodern. I think modernism rejected form. And they said we don't need form. Just free for all. Like poetry, modern poetry became no rhymes, no nothing, you know, like, and all that free verse, beat poetry, all that.
I connect more contemporary
and then
art to
postmodernism, which came, I think, when we were born-ish, like 90s-ish, then it started to go back to form, but a new form. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I see
I
what
think
you mean,
we're
but I don't have
creating
enough information to
But you just said that.
No, but I more connect our contemporary painting to the way of poets. You're saying just going to deforming the existence, and that's what I'm saying, that it's super hard as a creator to accept this imperfect, because we have this, I mean, I have this maybe sometime maniac state that I want, okay, this be the way I want, this is my taste. But I think most of it is just how the nature explain aesthetic to you than what is beauty is, you know.
Yeah, like an obsession with perfection.
With perfection, or that's how I think the meaning of beauty have been changed, you know, through the time.
That's why Lizzo is...
Lizzo is what? I didn't catch.
You know Lizzo?
Yes, I know, the singer.
Yeah. That's why they say like beauty standards and this.
I don't know about that.
Joking.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know if I don't know that much about.
You said the idea of perfection
American
has changed.
culture.
I'm like, that's why Lizzo is hot now.
I got your joke.
Yeah,
But
like
I'm
Jessica
not-
Alba.
I'm not-
Ew.
No, I'm not.
Back
too
then
much
maybe,
in
but
American
ew.
culture, yeah.
Lizzo, mwah. She should be on every bikini billboard.
You're mean.
I'm joking.
You're
This
mean
podcast
motherfucker.
keeps going from left wing to right
To
wing.
right wing.
Nobody
I don't know
knows
where
what I
say-
am. Am I
Changing-
sexist? Am I
the man is
feminist?
changing Andrew Tate to...
Yeah, I go from...
It's like boom, boom, boom,
It's-
boom, tac, tac. I love being here, man. I love to talk to
No,
people
but that's
who
also
don't
true
have
because I
this-
mean I was making a joke, but also that is true. Like there was a time where super fat was like beautiful. Then
Yeah,
there's a
from where we
time where
come from.
very skinny, like the more anorexically you look, that's the harder. Like David Beckham's wife, you know, like the Victoria Posh.
Yeah,
spice.
but when I said beauty, I didn't talk about...
No, I
human
know, but
aesthetic,
even
you know?
even
Yeah,
the
that,
humans, like you know, like
Yeah.
men, women,
But I think that's
fashion.
politically
Like
driven.
back then, it was like suits and stuff. Then it became so hip hop and like kind of what I watch, what I wear. That's why I'm still stuck in that because I like to dress what was cool in the fucking 90s, Limp Bizkit era. You know, I never graduated to Kendrick Lamar. You know, and now it's becoming something else, and then something else, and then something fashion and everything. And if you look at someone's how they dress, you can tell how old they are. And what
Yes.
their idea of, and it keeps changing. And I guess that has been happening to art. I mean, I think even today, there's this artist called Kaw. Do you know him? Kaw, which makes these big bunny toys, huge bunnies.
Cows.
Cows. Yeah, he puts the bunny next to like a temple in Indonesia. I'm gonna put a photo.
I think if you're talking about the same person.
Yeah,
I know that
like and
person.
celebrities buy it. Like Kanye has a very
I
expensive.
think I know. who
It's
you're
so
talking
cool. I love it. And if you go to someone, they're like, it's a toy. Like someone for our parents' age, it's a toy. It's a,
about. It is a toy.
but it's so good because
But that's what taste mean, you know.
But now I think it's changed to uniqueness is art. That's the whole NFT era of the stoned ape.
I'm not getting there. I'm not going to talk about that.
Okay,
That's
you
all.
can shit talk them, but you know
No,
all
I'm
the
not
bunnies
shit
are
talking,
the
nothing,
same,
yeah.
right? to on-train. But then the eye is a bit different on this one. So that's why this one is super expensive and everybody wants it, because it's unique. There's only one of it. Like he creates 100 bunnies. Each of them have a unique feature. They're just toys, like a bunny doing this, a bunny doing that. But there's a little different. And I think it all came from the whole NFT culture of the stoned ape. No, not the stoned ape. That's the theory Joe Rogan talks about. What did he call it?
I'm not following.
Bored ape.
I don't know.
Anthony Bored Ape.
I don't know.
You don't know?
No.
It's the monkey thing. Have you seen it? The NFT monkey thing?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. The Bored Ape. They're all a bit different, but kind of the same thing. But they have so much value because there's only one of it.
Well, yeah, I don't think the same, but I don't want to.
What do you think about it?
I don't want to get to this conversation with all the respect I have.
Come on.
No.
How do you see the future of how do you see the future of art with all the digitalization, AI and NFTs?
This is the conversation I would like to talk about. Yeah, I think as innovation of camera, because I heard like a lot of people who from love, say, oh, what if this happened, that happened with AI? Don't you think artists will get out of the job and blah blah? I'm like, no, actually, that's great for me. That's great for my generation, because if you look at the time when the camera was invented, whole concept of painting changed. People from trying to recreate reality got to a point to painting reality from their own vision, from their own taste. So I think the AI will do the job of camera. So they will have their own way of creating, and artists will find a new way to create after that. So if what I do today come to a point a robot can do that, I will find a new way of painting.
Maybe not. Because
but we have the historical evidence that every time technology have entered into creation, the creators have invented new way of creating.
If they give the money back to you, but the question is, now there's a job, let's say, who's a prompt speaker, whisperer, where their whole job is they don't know code writing, they don't know art, they don't know computer sciences, they're just good at giving prompts to mid-journey or whatever. So they know exactly what to write. Like Castle, Austria, you want to kill a certain race of people, very technical, you think it's not art, they wouldn't let you in an art school, you were born Austrian but grew up in Germany, and you hate several type of people. It gives you like that Hitler painting, right? But that's their job, to just exactly write the
that's
weird
what I'm saying.
That's not the artist. That's a prompt design. It's not the image.
No, I don't think that's what I create. I'm saying when that become norm of creation,
then you won't have that job anymore.
I will not create like that. My creation
but then
will
you're
be different
out of
form.
But
yeah, maybe painting will be out of way, but as a creator, I will use a different medium to create.
Okay.
I'm not obliged to only paint. I'm painting now because it's a way that I share my stories today. If that's been taken away from me by a camera or by a robot or by anything,
but aren't you
the
worried?
Spirit will continue.
I have friends
creating
who
in a
are
different
graphic
way.
designers. Shout out to Cam, who was ranting, rightfully so, the other time when I shared an AI art that I love. It's called Gossip Goblin. So good. I'm gonna put one of them here. So much pictures to put. I'm gonna put some of his. He does toads and stuff. He's really cool. And he goes, I fucking hate that shit. Instagram rap. And I understand him because he's a graphic designer for a certain multinational in Budapest. And he is losing his job. This is his source of income. This is what he spent his life on, learning. And now that he wanted to have a future, save some money, buy a house, have something, this is happening. But the corporations aren't putting that. Let's say I shovel, and there comes shoveling machine.
I totally understand.
And you have to then now. I did the Schumacher analogy before on this podcast. Like if you pay like this much, now you don't pay that much. You put all the money as an employer in your pocket, and then the government should tax them more. Like say you using AI instead of human, sure, more efficient, sure, you pay more taxes. And then the government doesn't spend the taxes on bombs in Afghanistan or whatever. They take the tax and give it back to the artist. So you, Puria, your job was stolen as an artist, then you can stay at home and the same money that the robot is doing your job will now go to you anyways as a social help.
True.
But they don't do this.
If I want to keep telling my stories in the old traditional way into that day, yes, my job will be stolen, but I don't see myself as only a painter. As I'm going to repeat again, I see myself as a creator. So if they take away the way I tell a story today, I will use other way to tell
But what if
stories.
all of it can be done by an AI?
I won't be alive.
Chat GPT can do all of it. Like you
Yes.
want to give prompts.
No,
Now Chat GPT will
that's
give
the thing,
prompts.
That's the thing. You don't know what that way. Because before camera, we didn't know even it's possible.
Camera wasn't thinking.
No, but
Camera was a tool.
But camera was doing what painter was doing until that point in the history. Capturing a vision of reality. Copying of what they see. That was painting into that point. And what I see, painting and painter is not my job. It's a medium I tell my stories. So if it's taken away from me, there will be other way of telling stories. And we've been telling stories since we were in a cave, and we will be telling stories since we get vanished from this planet. So me as a storyteller, I will find a way that I'm not even aware of today, thanks to that invasion of technology, to continue creating.
Maybe, but the only
continue.
concern I have here, I would only agree with you under one circumstance. If we get paid for that. We get paid for nothing.
If we get paid for nothing, so everybody will struggle for existing. So that's another totally point. But that will be a totally different point.
Like let's say a truck driver, now job stolen by AI.
Exactly. So
what do he do? Like you pay him.
Yeah, but
for no reason. For no reason. You were a truck driver, you lost your job. Every month the government should give you $1,000 or something. That way I agree. But they don't do that. Then I can sit at home and paint for fun.
True, but the question was, what if AI create better than me? We were talking about the creation. This is totally a whole different conversation, and I have no idea.
Because somebody would pay you for that, like a graphic designer, let's say, or something. Somebody would pay you and get that art. Let's say somebody would buy a poster of yours. Somebody would buy. There are many artists online, like this girl who made the Instagram, Facebook Messenger. I have this thing with you, which is like Tokyo. You know, the cat. It's so beautiful. I follow her. I forgot her name. I'm going to put one of her arts here. And she, like, let's say, has this Patreon page, which I love Patreon. You follow, you get this thing, you can support anyway. Then she sends you stuff, a poster, whatever. If you don't follow any human anymore, how are they going to make money out of art? You don't follow any. You want a picture of, let's say the air's hooked to your brain, like that Black Mirror episode. They know exactly what image you like. They make it better than any human would do it.
That's what I'm saying. We will create differently than image portraits, than creating just image, because it's a way that we say stories today. It's going to change to a whole different way of telling stories. And in case of your friend who's a designer, it's totally different. A designer,
it's not my friend. Oh, that guy. Yeah.
A designer is who working for a special company for a special need. A storyteller is not working for a special company for a special need. He's just sharing his story within the medium he has today.
So not for money.
If it brings money, but it's not limited to your.
You're not employed by someone. You're more a freelance.
You exactly. You can be employed by different people than just your boss who need a designer. You know, as a storyteller. That's
who would employ you?
I have no idea.
Like
for
you.
The time.
Let's say you.
for this moment or the moment that
Like I
AI
know
takes
you
every job.
did, for example, you did something in the art house of Grenoble, said.
Yeah, like a lot exposition, because now today a storytelling need to be exposed in the museum or art center.
Yeah.
But when you're saying all these places have been a house where AI or the robots are exposing their thing and it's way better of what we do today, my job, my way of storytelling will be out of there. So there will be new way of creating. I'm not able to tell you because the camera haven't been invented yet. But the day camera is
But do you
invented,
think
I will tell you where I'm going
do you
to.
think you can still make a living out of it? And if not, isn't it sad that you're passionate about this, you can do this, but you can't make a living out of it? So I don't know, you end up doing the minimum wage job and stuff because
Well,
it
I
just
think
doesn't pay.
in my lifetime, it's less possible to get into that point that a robot can do the same technique of what I'm doing, because we are way in the beginning, and the way a human body evolved in last million billion of years, the way it can hold brush is way different than a robot can do it. So when we get to that point, I think I won't be alive. So for
No.
me,
You don't even need a brush. The robot will recreate the image digitally.
yeah, but it's not going to be the same thing
So
that
you
a
say the
human,
value is that a physical
a
human.
physical human touch for now. But I'm sure somehow we get to that point that a robot will be as malicious, as technical as a hand of a human. But I don't think I will get to be alive then.
But you know, I mean, we gotta wrap it up soon, by the way. But
Yeah.
the fact that how fast, like when we were born, and we went from VHS to virtual reality
Yeah.
in what time? And the pace
In 20
keeps
years.
getting faster and
Yes.
faster. Like that DualShock controller.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to the dildos in the feet. Bro, this haptic feedback, who would need a fucking dick anymore?
Nobody.
It goes like, I swear when you play the game, it goes like when it's waves coming, the controller goes, it shakes you like the waves would shake. Like it. What happened? One PlayStation away from 4 to 5. The R2L2 is like.
From a man to.
Yeah, so I don't know. I don't think so. I think in 10 years, I think we'll see that. I think in 10 years, we will have
how I'm telling my stories.
Yeah, global crisis. Let's see. I would like to put this here, so we'll see. 2023, 2033. 2033. Let's see what's happening. We've already have a global crisis of masses losing jobs, including anything I do. Economic analysis, they can do it better. Management and marketing, and they can do it better. Fucking anything I do. The only thing I think from what we do, what we've done, is kitchen shit. I've seen in the noodle pasta thing. Have you seen the robot that makes noodles? But that's the level. No. I think that's one thing they can't fucking take from us.
The human malicious, yeah.
The pasta. That, like kitchen work, food. Serving restaurant industry. I think that's, and maybe at some point, but in the next 10 years, that's safe. But in the next 10 years, every corporate thing, everything we're used to, everything I was hoping to become is gone.
Well, I have no idea.
Let's don't know. Let's see. We're going to check this podcast in 2033 and we will see.
Yeah, man.
Let's do it. Wait. Let's do another podcast 2033.
Thank you, man.
This will be cool.
For having me. So, if I'm alive, I will be here.
Definitely. We're going to head off to the open mic night of Tuzbiber. If you're in Istanbul, come to Tuzbiber shit and every other shit. Anything you want to say? Any last words to the aliens? What if you could tell one thing to the aliens about our planet and just what would you say to them? Who are we as a human? And what song would you send to them to represent us? What David Bowie?
Loving, experiencing, awareness, and the song I would love to share, the first thing come to my mind. Let It Be by Beatles.
It's a very obscure song. I'm sure not many people know about it, but check it out. I haven't seen anyone listen to that song. Honestly, it's so obscure. It's like Can. Hey you, you're losing your vitamin C, your vitamin C. Let it be, yeah, beautiful.
Let It Be.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you
Now,
for
can you
having
look
me.
at the camera and say, "This has been Portals to Terra. Prepare your brains to get fucked."
This has been Portal to Terra, and prepare your brain to get fucking fucked.